When I first started in law enforcement, this is what you commonly heard from anybody that was hired in law enforcement. I want to give back to my community. I want to make a difference. I want to do something for other people. You very rarely hear that in today's environment. Now, I think there's several reasons for that. I think the pandemic certainly changed the way law enforcement saw service. We sat in parking lots. We basically stopped all proactive policing. And then you had George Floyd during that period of time. And then that also changes the interaction with the public. And then you have a new generation of officer coming into the profession. And I think this has created this perfect storm of service taking a back seat. I think there's several reasons why service is taking a back seat. Number one, I think we're less proactive. We're not doing the enforcement that we used to do. And you look at all the numbers nationwide, arrests are down, traffic stops are down, interactions with the public are down. So I think that's very, very true. The second thing is the psychological safety of the officer. Officers have to know that they can trust you to have their back when they do their job, and they also have to know that the public has their back. Officers, instead of viewing this as a profession, now sometimes see it as a job. And those are just some of the highlights to why I think that service has taken a back seat. I think we can change that. Number one is I think we got to focus on the why. I think we really have to focus on why we're doing the job. What's the down core, deep reason that we're doing this job? And I think we have to make sure this new generation understands that. I think the second thing is service has to be defined. I think that if you look at 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, service didn't need to be defined. But in this new generation, defining what police service is really about, I think we got to define that. I think the next thing we have to do is we have to challenge leadership. Leadership has to step up and be more proactive in encouraging service to the community. We got to get back to the basics of law enforcement. We got to stop sitting in parking lots. We got to stop officers from watching Netflix while they're working. We got to get officers more involved in the community. And I think community engagement is the next point. We've got to get officers to understand and buy into that community and become a part of that community, not apart from it. I've written this blog, and I encourage you to go to the blog and take a look in more detail about what I'm talking about. I think it's going to really make a difference on how you perceive or what your perspective is on service, and also what your perspective can be on how we can change this and how we can turn around where I think service has taken a back seat.